Hey there, welcome back to High Infidelity, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into today's story video. My 20 male girlfriend, 19 female of 2 years cheated on me. What do I do? Here's a little background information. 2 days after graduating from high school, I relocated to another state to be with my girlfriend, with whom I've been dating for a year and a half now. We've experienced our fair share of highs and lows. During the preceding 18-month period, we've both been guilty of a little emotional cheating in the past, but we've always been able to come to terms with it. She traveled back to her home state for the holidays in order to spend time with her younger sister and her family. We hadn't communicated in a long time while she was abroad, so I was skeptical when she said she wanted to talk. After all was said and done, it was discovered earlier tonight that she had cheated on me twice with 2 other men. One of them was her ex-boyfriend, whom she has stated, and continues to say, is merely a friend of hers. She went to his place to hang out with him, and I'm guessing they ended up having there as well. An additional suspect was a guy we both knew who, for the most part, ate her alive. I now see why she acted in the manner she did. Things have been a touch tight as a result of my lack of desire. We chatted about it for a few hours on the phone, and I determined to work on increasing my performance in that area going forward. She has also indicated that she is unsure whether or not she wants to be with me, but we are both ready to give it a shot. I want to save our relationship since we both care about each other, but it's proving to be difficult, and I'm in severe pain as a result of it. It will be necessary for me to abandon everything and return to my parents' residence on the other side of country if we decide to break ways. So, what am I supposed to do now? Is it necessary for me to put in an effort to make things work? Story 2. My wife, 25 female, cheated and divorced me, 25 female, and I don't know how to get over her. Please allow me to provide you with some background information. The introduction of a mutual acquaintance brought my wife and I together when we were 22 years old. We were immediately attracted to one another and started going on dates together, ultimately becoming a pair. At the time, I was frightened of telling my parents about my orientation, since my father exhibited signals of homophobia. If it hadn't been for her, I would not have been able to tell my parents about my orientation. The woman urged me to speak out in front of them and told me that she would be there for me throughout the process. I was utterly head over heels in love with her. When we were around 2 years into our relationship, red flags started to arise. As time went on, she became more reclusive, refusing to allow me to see anything she had. When I eventually got my hands on her phone, all of her chats were erased since she had concealed her phone and made sure she logged out of every account she had. She would never log out of her accounts. I approached her because I had a sneaking suspicion she was cheating. The reason she was shopping for an engagement ring and talking with friends and family on how she should propose to me came to light when I asked her what she had in mind. I was in tears from delight and relief, and she proposed to me right then and then, but I had a nagging sensation that something wasn't quite right about the whole arrangement. Now that I think about it, what I was suggesting to myself was nothing more than a ruse to get out of cheating altogether. After we were engaged, she started to show signs of change. We lost touch because she became cold and unresponsive to me. She hardly showed up at our place and didn't react to text messages or phone calls. When I mentioned my worries, she responded simply by stating that she was worried and overwhelmed as a result of her job and the upcoming marriage. I made the mistake of forgiving her, and she told me that she would do better in the future. She didn't, and in fact, her condition deteriorated. Immediately after the wedding, she scarcely spoke to me and only returned home when I was sleeping. She stated that it was due to her job and that her supervisor was pressuring her to work longer hours to make ends meet. Her employees informed me the next day that she was having an affair with another coworker via a message sent to me by one of her coworkers. When I received that text, it tore at my heart, and I waited for her to return so that I could meet her face to face. When I approached her about it, she categorically denied it, stating that all of her employees dislike her and are envious of her because her boss is favoritism. When I begged her to quit lying to me, she acknowledged that she had been having an affair with me. I became so upset that I shouted at her to leave, which she dutifully obeyed and left. She was given the assignment of aiding a new colleague 2 years ago, and the rest is history. It started off as a friendship, but as time went on, she began to develop emotions for her, and the two of them eventually started dating. She even admitted to a colleague that she was in a relationship with him. As soon as they started dating, she began going to her home every day to have with him. She even vowed to end her relationship with me so that they could be public with their romance and not have to keep it a secret. My wife filed for divorce the next day, and we are currently in the midst of the legal proceedings. I'm presently staying at a friend's home and only see her when we're having a conversation about the divorce proceedings. The problem is that I continue to admire her. I love her and desire to be reunited with her once again in my life. On a daily basis, I hope that this is all a nightmare, and I want to rush into her embrace. I want her to tell me how much she loves me and that she would go to any length to be in my company. Just want her, and even though I know I shouldn't, even if it means giving her another chance, I'm prepared to give her another chance. The reason why I can't move on is because I keep thinking about her and the wonderful moments we had. So, Reddit, help guide me through this process. I need to know how to get past her. Story 3. Me, 26 male, with my wife, 26 female of a year. Just caught her cheating on me. Where do I go from here? Let me start by saying that I've known my wife for nearly 10 years now. We attended high school together. We started dating in December 2012, and we were married in June of the following year. Obviously, this is red flag number 1, but whatever. She also suffers from psychological problems, depression, past suicide attempt. She thinks she might be bipolar. However, everything seemed to be all right. We had our ups and downs, which I felt were usual for a family of 4 in our situation. Let's fast forward to approximately 2 weeks ago, when she unexpectedly informed me that she was unhappy, that she felt confined, and that she desired a part-time, open relationship with me. As soon as she arrived home, both of us sobbed and spoke about what had happened before choosing to attempt to make things work moving forward. Since then, things have been a bit shaky, but it seemed like things were getting back to normal at the time. It was impossible for me, though, to shake the sensation that she was up to something behind my back. I simply couldn't put my finger on it. The red flags started to arise, but since I cared about her, I gave her the benefit of the doubt and chose to ignore them instead. She updated the password on her phone, which was something she had never done before. And although I recognize that she has the right to privacy, I couldn't help but feel as if she was hiding something. She also changed the backdrop photo on her phone, which had been a picture of me ever since we first met. It may not seem to be a huge problem, but something just didn't feel right. She also failed to inform me of her intended destination. Then she informed me that she would have to remain late at work tonight. At first, I didn't give it much thought, but as time went on, it became more significant. Later on, as well. Since we both knew each other's passwords, or at the very least I did, I decided to utilize the Find iPhone app to check whether she was on her way back to her apartment. She was of the opinion that this was not the case. She was staying at an apartment complex around 20 minutes away from her place of employment. This was the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, and I was determined to find out the truth once and for all. So I went over to the location where the app had said she was racing her heart, but I was also pleased to have solid confirmation of her activity. After I arrive, I proceed to drive up and down the street searching for her vehicle. Not immediately away, but after a few minutes of searching, I come see her coming down the street with a male companion. The moment I pulled into the parking lot, I got out and inquired about what was going on. "I don't have anything," she replied. Afterwards, I turned to face the gentleman and informed him that she was my wife. "Almost made the betrayal worthwhile because of his look," was all he could say. At that time, I took off my wedding ring and handed it to her before getting into my car and going home. What in the world am I supposed to do now, is my query. This lady was my whole universe. She knew everything about me, even my deepest secrets and concerns, and she betrayed them all. What is the best way to go about seeking a divorce? No idea how I'm going to pay all of our payments right now. I'm concerned that since this was my first relationship, I will never be able to put my faith in anybody else the way I did with her in the past.